Invisible is a 2016 sci-fi thriller VR series, 5 episodes long, each episode airing 5 to 8 minutes for a total runtime of 30 minutes. It's distributed by Jaunt VR and written by Melisa Wallack. Invisible is about a wealthy family with an interesting genetic trait, which is that some of them have the ability to turn invisible. Now, the special effects artists and cinematographers in Invisible have done an excellent job of really using some of the unique affordances of VR to create really tense moments. Especially in the first episode, we get a lot of tension, and oftentimes that's built with things like 3D audio. So you'll have different sounds coming from about different places of the room, and that causes the viewer to look around, which is really immersion building. Camera positioning is another highlight of Invisible. In this environment where the viewer has the ability to look all around themselves, the position of the camera can create really effective scenes, and Invisible does a great job of directing the viewer's attention from the immediate focus and then, oh, look at that on the floor, and follow it through to the other side. So that redirected focus is done extremely well here. Unfortunately, episode 1 is dominated by exposition. We get a lot of voiceover from the main character, who's a character we're not actually introduced to until episode 2. And so it's not clear who they are, and it's not clear why we should care about them. And then we get the news broadcast style exposition, which of course has been done to death, though it's an interesting take in the virtual reality environment with having multiple screens positioned around you. After some really tense moments at the end of episode 1, episodes 2 and 3 really start to slow down quite a lot. There is some really effective scenes with phone calls where, rather than a split screen, we've got a split environment. Lines are drawn, and over here we've got third world country, a lawyer's office, and the villain's lair as they're having a conference call. The main character, Tatiana, played by Sofia is fleshed out more in these 2 episodes, but throughout the whole series, she's left as a bit of a one-dimensional character. We're not given a lot of her backstory. It's hard to care too much about what happens to her. We also meet her brother Ray, played by Cauldwell, and their uncle Gordon, played by Siberry. Thankfully, the last 2 episodes pick up the pace again quite a lot. Unfortunately, Tatiana remains somewhat underdeveloped, and there's no real stakes here. So there's a big generic company and a generic villain, and we're not really 100% sure what the worst case scenario is. My favourite scene from the entire series occurs in episode 5, the diner scene, and that is a lot of fun, makes great use of an invisible character. And we're introduced here, I think, to Julian. To be honest, I'm not really sure where Julian fits in or if he was introduced earlier, so I had some confusion there. Olivia Boreham-Wing as Susan and Cauldwell as Ray were played excellently by these actors. One of the things about virtual reality and 360-degree videos is that they're often viewed on screens with small resolutions, and in that format it's hard to convey a lot of subtle emotions. But these characters still did a good job of getting across nuance in their roles. I didn't feel like the ending really resolved itself, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that we need to be waiting for a season 2 of Invisible. Overall, I give Invisible a B-. Hey, thanks for watching. This is the very first YouTube video I've ever created, and I've taken on board the advice to just get started rather than waiting until everything's perfect. You can see I'm just in my office and not in a nice studio. I'm really passionate about film and I love virtual reality, and so the intersection of the two seemed like a natural fit for me. So I'm going to continue making these videos, reviewing content from Google Spotlight Stories, Jaunt VR, and others within is another. And if you'd like to stay up to date, then please subscribe.